All right, so I think everyone probably knows by now I'm Tasha, one of the health coaches here at the Waukesha Employee Health and Wellness Center. Today is Wednesday, welcome to December, Wednesday, December 2nd, and we are going to get started on this Wellness Wednesday with a 15-minute light stretch and some deep breathing meditation work. So I'm going to do today's session standing. I know in the past I've done a mix of standing or seated. If you prefer seated, if you have a comfortable spot at work or at home, wherever you are right now, then just settle into that comfortable spot. I'm going to remain standing, and we'll start with our 3 deep breaths. So wherever you are, get grounded. If you're standing, keep a slight bend in your knees. And let's close our eyes and just rest our hands in front of us. Finding that breath. Let's take 3 full inhales if you haven't already. And once you finish your 3rd exhale, just continue breathing, drawing attention to your belly and your chest and the rise and fall when you inhale and exhale. Reflecting on maybe some positive events, happy memories from our Thanksgiving break. One of mine is making my own turkey for the first time. Didn't burn the house down. Grateful for that. Had a virtual Thanksgiving with my mom and my sister from afar. That was great as well. And we hope that you have some happy, positive memories to draw from this morning as we get started. So now that we've kind of got some clarity and reset ourselves for this stretch, let's get a little bit wider stance. I have my feet a little bit wider than shoulder distance apart. I'm going to take a nice deep inhale. Let's bring both of those hands up above our head. And as we exhale, push those hands out in front. Good. And let's flip those palms in now towards us. And feel that gentle pull down and away from our shoulders, lengthening our neck. Let's relax. Let's do the same thing now. Grab those hands behind us. So I have my fingers interlocked behind me. You don't have to. Just do what's comfortable. If it's better to just kind of, grab one arm or your wrist with the other hand, that's fine too. But let's do the same thing here and just gently pull our arms and shoulders down and away from our head and neck. Focus on stretching and lengthening our neck. And as we actively pull our arms down and away here, let's gently tilt our head forward, chin to chest, and see how much of a stretch we can get in the back of our neck. And you can do this seated as well. Nice upper body, shoulder, neck stretch. Let's go ahead and release those arms. Shake out those hands and arms if you need to a little bit. We'll continue with that neck stretch. We kind of just got the back side. Let's now go side to side, so left to right. Bring one ear to your shoulder. Doesn't matter which you start with because we're going to switch in a minute. I always say it. Ear to shoulder metaphorically. I can't literally touch my ear to my shoulder. Maybe you can, but if you can't, that's just fine. Nice stretch here. Sometimes I like to take my other hand and just gently rub, kind of help those muscles release and relax a little bit. I think most of us tend to carry a lot of our tension and tightness up in our neck and shoulder area. Go ahead and switch nice and slowly. Anytime we stretch the neck or head area, we want to just have really slow, controlled movements. And you might notice during this or any stretch that maybe one side of your body is a bit more flexible and can stretch a bit further than the other. And so I'm leaning now my left ear to my left shoulder and kind of stretching the right side of my neck. And this is quite a bit tighter than the left side. On your inhale, use that breath, come back to center. Exhale, and let's tilt our head back now. So chin up to the ceiling. So relax our hands down in front again. And breathe. This might be a good one for not just kids, but anybody. Inhale, back up to center. Anyone who might spend a lot of their time during the day looking down, maybe at their phone, or looking down at something that they're reading or writing or their computer screen. So really kind of counteracting that tension from what we're doing like this during the day, opening up our chest and shoulders and bringing our chin up to the ceiling. Let's continue working our way down the body now. So we're going to get a good torso stretch in here. Let's get that wide stance again, what we started with. My feet are wider than shoulder distance apart. Nice big inhale here. One hand up and over. And as we exhale, squeeze all that air out of your belly. You can keep one hand here on your tummy to help if you need. Reaching that hand over to the other side as far as you can. Just feel nice deep stretch here in your obliques, maybe even down into your hip flexor in the front of your thigh, depending upon where you might be tight and in need of a good stretch. Might feel this in different places. Inhale again. Inhale, go and windmill. I like to call this a windmill, switching sides up and over. You can keep that hand on your belly here. And as you breathe into this stretch, push against your hand and have your hand press back against your belly. All right, on your next inhale, you know what to do. Windmill back down, both hands to your side. Now go ahead and shake those arms out if you need. Let's work our way down into the back. So we kind of got the obliques here on the sides of our torso. A really popular, another common culprit area for stretching is our low back. So I like to do this a couple different ways. You can either have your feet shoulder distance apart. You can have them wider than shoulder distance, kind of where we left off with the last stretch, or you can bring them close together, kind of like this. Hopefully you can see my fun blue teal colored socks. So I'm going to keep my feet close together. They're only a few inches apart. The important thing though is to keep a slight bend in your knees. We never want to lock our knees. So let's take an inhale here. Exhale, going down. This is nice front fold here. Gentle stretch in our low back. You'll feel this in your hamstrings as well. And just go as far as you can as what's comfortable. We want to go to the point of engagement and stretching, but not to pain. Okay, so mine and Courtney's favorite saying is listen to your body. This is a perfect time to do that. And if you aren't already, if you're maybe doing the same stance I am, let's bring our feet out to wider than shoulder distance, and let's lean to one side. And as you lean here, go ahead and hold this. I'm going to just tweak the blinds behind me. I thought they were closed enough, but maybe not. I want to get good lighting for you guys to see what's going on. So as we stretch and lean to one side, you should feel the opposite side of your low back have a nice stretch. So go ahead and switch. So now I'm leaning to my left, and I feel this nice stretch in my right lower back. You may feel this in your groin and in your thigh as well, maybe still in your hamstrings, depending upon how tight your thighs and hamstrings typically are. On your exhale, let's bring those feet back together and slowly come back up to standing. Nice and slow. Remember, you want to protect that lower back. How are you doing on time? Oh, super. Fantastic. All right. So let's get we kind of got the backs of our legs there, maybe with that forward fold. We got the hamstrings. So we're going to get the fronts now. Remember, we always stretch opposing opposite muscle groups to keep everything even. So we want to get our quads. If you want to do a modified quad stretch, this is what that might look like. If you don't have a giant exercise ball like we do in our office, that's okay. You don't need one. You can use a chair or a couch, anything that is a good height for you to rest your foot on behind you. If you need to grab maybe a couple pillows or a cushion or roll up a jacket to set that on to kind of bolster up the height a little bit more, you certainly can. But this is a nice modified quad stretch compared to the traditional balancing on one leg and pulling the other foot up behind you to stretch the quad. I like to keep my hands on my hips here. Maybe a slight bend in the back. Really kind of extend and isolate the front of our thigh here, that quad area, get a nice deep stretch. Using that breath again to transition. So on your exhale, let's go ahead and switch. This is why I like using a giant exercise ball for this. You just roll it around to the other side. It's super easy. And let's hold here. And we want to try to hold each stretch for at least 10 seconds. 20 seconds if you're really wanting to be an overachiever or an ideal achiever. 10 seconds is good, 20 seconds is best if you have the time. Exhale again here. Let's go ahead and release that leg. So now to wrap up, we did not do this last time, and if you recall last week, there was no class due to the day before Thanksgiving, and I was at home. However, 2 weeks before that, so two weeks ago, the last class series we had, we talked about doing the Piriformis stretch, which I think has been very popular and well received. So I'm going to demo the Piriformis stretch standing. Remember, this is one that you can do seated as well. So if you want to grab a seat, go ahead. It'll look the same, minus balancing on one leg like I'm about to. So if you're seated or standing, regardless, you're going to take one ankle, one leg, and pull it up onto your thigh. So this is above my knee. It's not on my knee. It's a little bit more back from my knee on my thigh. And you're going to keep your back nice and flat, nice and straight, and sink down. I like to place my hands together. This is a nice little yoga pose I picked up over the years. You don't have to do this. It just helps me focus and concentrate. So if you're seated, you can maybe keep your hands on your leg and help pull that in towards you. Again, remember, as you're keeping your back nice and straight, you should feel that stretch here, if I kind of turn to the other side, on the outer lower side of your thigh and glute area. So remember, our piriformis is that little muscle buried deep in our glute family of muscles that's responsible for a lot of low back and sciatic pain if we don't stretch it enough. It tends to tighten up and seize up very quickly and easily since it is so small if we spend a lot of our time sitting, which many of us, I think, do. So go ahead and switch if you have not yet. And remember that breath. Never hold your breath. That's something else we like to remind everyone of. And if you are standing like I am, another tip is to find your focal point. So look at a fixed object that's not moving. So don't look at me because I'm moving a little bit. Good. On your next exhale, you can go ahead and release that leg back down. And shake out those legs a bit if you need to. That's always a good one. I'm warm now. was running the heater in here, but moving around always gets the circulation going, and that's good. That's the point. So let's find that grounding, centered breath again. Find our starting stance. Let me close your eyes. Let's find 3 deep inhales and exhales. And after your 3rd exhale, let's try something different. Let's keep our eyes closed, but make fists with both hands and hold here for 3 counts. Making fists with both of your hands, squeezing as tightly as you can, and release. Gather one more breath here, big inhale. Making fists again, squeezing tightly both hands, hold, and release. And as you release, I like to stretch and fan my fingers out, stretching my palms back in the opposite direction of that closed fist. And you can shake out those arms, move your shoulders, dance around. We are finished for today. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you are feeling relaxed, but also re-energized and peaceful and positive going through the rest of your Wednesday and the rest of your week. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next Wednesday.